1, 2, 3, 4.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, Natty make we chant down Vatican now. Down the bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, Natty make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, Natty make we chant down Vatican now. Down the bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, Natty make we chant down Vatican now.
What up, y'all? It's Babylon 5 Podcast. It's your boy, Jermaine Event, man. I swear, every time, honestly, that I'm about to record, I'm like, damn, did I record last week? It feels like it's so long from when I last recorded. Maybe I miss you guys. I don't know who you guys are, to be I'm just a nigga talking to himself, in his little home studio. But shout out to everybody that listens to my babbles. But it always feels like it's been so long. Sang it. It's been on. So please show me right here's where you want to be. And a little shout out to convicted sex offender Mystical, who had hits such as Danger. In the song Shake It Fast, but Watch Yourself. Had songs, the unedited version is Shake Your Ass, but Watch Yourself. I thought it was funny. I was playing that for my wife the other day, and she had not heard the unedited version before. It's funny to me because there's quite a few unedited versions of like hip-hop or R&B, and I say R&B, mainly I'm thinking about 112 and how, if you guys have heard the unedited version of Peaches and Cream, that shit's so amazing. That's kind of nigga I am, I guess. I feel like it's so amazing. Like when Duran is singing in Peaches and Cream, he's like, I think in the edited version, he's like, in top underneath, on the side of you, better yet, baby, right next to you. But on the unedited version, it's better yet, baby, inside of you. I remember being young and hearing that, and I was like, whoa, this song is dirty. You know what I'm saying? But once you, once for me personally, once I got a taste of that unedited shit, there was no going back. I hate listening to edited music. If I hear a version of a song that's edited, and let's say somewhere at any point down the line I discover that there's an unedited version where I could hear this song as it was intended to be heard, I'll be fucking personally pissed off at myself. But this is episode 116, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I've mentioned it. I don't think I've let you know. I didn't post, I haven't really been posting anything too much on Instagram. If you guys follow me on Instagram, then you'd notice, like, bro, you ain't been posting the past few days. I'm usually daily with the post. But the issue that I'm dealing with here, so like Instagram, I looked at my Instagram account for the Babylon 5 account, and it said I was following 505 people. And I was thinking to myself, like, fuck, I probably don't interact with, like, most of these people. And I click on that the people I follow, and Instagram has a section that they create that says least interacted with. Right? And I go through there, and I just start unfollowing motherfuckers. Accounts that I'm like, yeah, there's no reason for me to follow this account. Other than, like, I would just hit follow back occasionally. Well, for certain people, it's like it's not like, following this person or that person. It was more so of a numbers game. Like, if I got so many, if I check my Instagram notifications and I got like 3 new followers, I'll probably follow one of those people back. You know what I'm saying? It's just a numbers game like that you can look up the fucking algorithms and how to grow your fucking Instagram. You can look that up online. So that's what I was doing. My wife told me how to grow my Instagram, and it was getting to where it's at. I'm not sure how many followers. It was like 2,300 or some shit around that area. But so I'm going through and I'm unfollowing people. Then all of a sudden, Instagram starts spazzing. And then it fucking switches me to some screen that says, your account has been compromised. We believe, it says it believes that I gave my shit, my password, to like some third party to gain followers. Mind you, one of the things with the whole algorithms, as I'm saying here, is like you can look up how to grow. It's like better for you if you have a lower number of followers compared to a lower number of people you follow personally. If you have a low number of people you follow and a high number of followers, then you start to pop up and be recommended for people, apparently. So, as I'm seeing that I have over 500 people that I follow, and it says, like, fucking most of these people are on this list of, like, that I never interact with. And so I'm unfollowing these people, and it spazzes out and says, nope, nigga. We're not about to let that go down. So it put me in this state where it was like, it's claimed that I gave my account to some third party to grow or gain followers because I was unfollowing people. And now it's just like, so for the Babylon 5 page, it kept doing that, but occasionally it would be like, it would go back to the regular screen, but it wouldn't load my feed. It would say can't reload feed, and then go back to your account is compromised. But whenever I put in the information, it says I need to change my password. If I put in the information, it like fucking starts to load, and then it goes back to the other screen and says could not refresh. So, and it says it's supposed to like either change my password, and then I went into forgot password, and then I'll give him my user account. I just give him the Babylon 5 fucking the handle, if you will, and then they're supposed to send me a link to reset the password so I could have access again. But then that just goes back to the other screen and says could not refresh. So the other day I was thinking, like, because I was getting notifications that people were sending me messages. This person liked my reel or whatever, yada, yada. I'm getting notifications. So, and the screen would still pop up as to where I could upload. So I was like, let me just fucking see if I can upload something because I'm still getting notifications and things like that. Let me see if I can upload. But now it's in this like half uploaded state where it's just like there's a circle, there's no feed, and it's half uploaded. And it just looks like it probably will never upload as long as it's still in this state where it feels like my account has been compromised. And because of that, because I tried to test this to see if I could upload something, I can no longer at this point use the My Name's Jermaine account. Maybe I could probably uninstall the app and then sign back in as My Name's Jermaine. But it seems like I will not have access to the Babylon 5 account for the time being. I might need to make a brand new account on Instagram, unfortunately. I built that up as it is. I was proud of how I built that Instagram up. But unfortunately, dude, Instagram has no customer service. Apparently there used to be an email you could contact, but because there's apparently always issues, that's why you fucking have customer service. Because they were always overflooded with issues, they just got rid of their customer service. So as I'm having problems, I'm supposed to just follow what the fuck the screen is telling me to do. But as I'm telling you right now, it's not loading up. I'll put in the information. It'll be like, could not load, could not refresh. And it's like, I didn't ask you to refresh. I'm trying to change my password if this is what you're telling me to do, so that I can fucking just get back into my account. Fuck. My wife said, I believe she said my followers were down to like 200 something. But on my screen, because I can still like just, oh no, I can't. Wait, let's see. No, I can't see how many followers I have. It's not allowing me to see that information right now. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so on my screen it says I'm following 466 people. But my wife looked at my Instagram and she said that it said like 2 something. Because I was deleting them. As I'm saying, I was unfollowing people. Because Instagram showed me, yeah, we sectioned off everybody here that you follow for no reason. And I was like, well, then let me unfollow them. And they were like, nah, bruh, looks like you're cheating. Nigga, how? How does it look like I gave my information to some third party? I wasn't gaining followers. I was losing people that I follow. I wasn't gaining followers. So I'm just fucking lost. I fucking tweeted at Instagram, tagged them in it, because they don't have customer service. I'm trying to draw some attention. Usually for smaller companies, when I fucking start to drag them online, that's when they respond. Yeah, that's what Jermaine does, ladies and gentlemen. If I have minor issues with customer service online, I go to Twitter, start talking shit, tagging them in posts. I go to Google, leave a bad review, start talking shit. I go to Facebook, leave a bad review. They usually get at me within the hour. They usually get at me within the hour. I'm fucking crazy, but it works. Because you don't want that fucking... You know what I'm saying? Like, depending on how many... Let's say you're a restaurant. That's never the issue. As far as, like, ordering online... But, I mean, I guess there's been issues with deliveries, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I fucking, like when I was saying the mask situation, I was trying to drag that nigga online. And, yeah, it didn't really work. Niggas was sticking by the whole, like, nope. We provided the service, sir. And it's like, no, you didn't. I don't have the mask. It never came. Speaking of never came, I ordered another mask off of Amazon that was saying that it would potentially be delivered here, but it was going to possibly be after we went to Denver, like while we were in Denver. So I had it mailed to my friend Andrea's address because we were staying in the Airbnb we were staying in. Just so happens to be in the building where she lives. And, yeah, that mask never came. And it's saying, and it was never delivered. It's saying even on Amazon right now that, if it's delayed and possibly going to be delivered by the 10th. And if it's not delivered by the 10th, then I can cancel the order. It's like, nigga, you should let me cancel that right now because Halloween has already passed. And I ordered that fucking, over a week ago, I would say. Yeah, over a week ago I ordered that. And I don't know where it is. But what I do know is for the time being, till we get everything figured out, if you guys would still like to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You can follow my personal accounts at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You could listen to this podcast on, well, hold on. Pardon me. You should follow this podcast. If you're listening right now, head on over to Podbean, or maybe not. I mean, wherever you are, man, like hit a heart or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, do whatever you can to let the people know that you support this podcast on whatever it is, whatever streaming service you listen to. Please do that. Could do that on Podbean if you are on Podbean at babylon5.podbean.com. But you can, most importantly, listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcasts stream. If you guys are on Xbox, go ahead and add me. My gamer tag is SauceBoss414. I don't know if I need new video games or something like that, but I was like, nigga, these video games weak now. I just didn't want to play anything lately. I was kind of bored with the video games that I have. I guess I was playing Skyrim earlier, but now I'm stuck in like a glitch. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm like fighting this vampire lord, but then it just gets to a point in the battle where like his energy, his health will not decrease. It just keeps increasing, but he doesn't move. He isn't affected by the attacks we're doing. He's just there. He's talking, but he's just there. It's a crazy glitch. So I guess that's all I'm playing with. I guess that would be interesting to put that on Twitch. If you guys are on twitch.tv, on Twitch, go to twitch.tv/Babylon5 to, watch your boy play some games when I feel like being on there, when I feel like streaming. As I said, I hadn't felt like streaming too much lately. But if you guys want to really show that you support the podcast, I'd head on over to teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. Cop some merchandise, cop a t-shirt, a mask, leggings, whatever you need, baby clothes, we got it. We got you. And lastly, if you guys are on Patreon, go ahead and, or if you guys are on Patreon, if you guys would like to be my patrons, for just $1, as I said, I brought down the tiers. You guys can be my patron. Go to patreon.com/Babylon5pod and be my patron. Be my patron. I don't really listen to this nigga's music. This nigga kind of blew up. And I was saying to you niggas, like, I feel like he's biting Kid Cudi at every turn. So I was never really that into Travis Scott. Like, the only Travis Scott song I really like is the song that he has with Kid Cudi. All through the late night, on the day, and we play all through the late night. Because Cudi's vibing. And it's like you already stealing everything from Cudi. May as well put the nigga on a song. Jesus. I remember I was on the old podcast I was on. Niggas was trying to argue that if Travis Scott is a copycat of Cudi, he's doing it better than Cudi. Nigga, no way. Why? Because children are into it? Because a bunch of children are into this music doesn't mean he's making fucking music sound as amazing as Kid Cudi does. Kid Cudi is a amazing musician, if you will. Let me just move this mic. I hate when I look back at these recordings, and I'm going to move this a little bit. Because I haven't past few, when I was able to post videos, I haven't done the video work. When I got back from Denver, I was like, I'm not going to do this. And then it was just like, I think the week before that, I'd honestly gotten lazy. There's other issues, but mainly being lazy. I hadn't done any of the video work, but I hate when I look at these fucking videos and I'm like, just my head's turned. My whole body's essentially like turned away from the camera here. So I'm trying to keep the microphone just in line with the camera so that I'm just more inclined to face this way. And I apologize for all you guys who are watching the videos. Like, why is this nigga's head turned? Because I'm dumb. No other real explanation than I'm fucking dumb. But as I said, I don't really listen to Travis Scott's music. But I was just like scrolling through Reddit this morning, and it's like every other post was something about Travis Scott. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Did I miss something? And I Googled Travis Scott, and it says like 8 people dead at this Travis Scott Astro World Festival or some shit like that. Put on a concert in Houston. 8 people died, many people injured. It was crazy stories, man. Crazy stories coming out of there. This one police chief or whatever guy was saying that a security officer there was trying to break up an altercation, and then all of a sudden he got fucking stabbed in the neck with a syringe and then fainted and then was revived with Narcan. And it was just like apparently multiple reports of motherfuckers just going around sticking niggas with syringes, just dosing niggas with whatever the fuck is in that fucking syringe. There's all kinds of stories of that. This video I saw of some lady or some girl trapped under a fucking crowd of people. There's crowd surging, if you will. But it looks like this nigga Travis Scott is getting canceled, man, because I'm seeing some crazy shit online. I saw a video of him crowd surfing, and he crowd surfed, and then as he's going back to the stage, somebody in the audience tries to take his shoe off of his foot. And Travis Scott does not take that too kindly and then instructs everyone in the crowd. He says, "You're a fucking thief. You tried to steal my shoe? Beat his ass." And everybody just starts throwing punches at this guy. And Travis Scott spits on the guy. And people are just beating up this guy. At his concert. There's some security guard that posted that he was working security, obviously, at a Travis Scott concert, and his job was to just stop people from rushing on to the stage, you know what I'm saying? And he said some kid, jumped over the barricade and was about to rush the stage, and he grabbed the kid back, but then Travis Scott came and started, talking shit to the cop, or to the security guard in his face, was like, "You a bitch-ass nigga." You know what I'm saying? This is my concert, yeah. And then they said that Travis Scott at that point starts instructing the audience to rush the stage, which they all do. And all these security guards are fucking struggling to try to hold all these people back, whoever they can. He says he's, Travis Scott is, I don't know what it means, but it says, he'd reward the people who were able to get past security and get on the stage. It's just fucking weird. But I'm just seeing all kinds of shit about Travis Scott, and it looks like this nigga's getting canceled. Because what's the article right here? It says Travis Scott and Live Nation are being sued because of what happened. I mean, obviously, that's going to happen. 8 people died, a bunch of other people injured. You got cops or security guards getting stabbed with fucking random-ass syringes. Looks to me like this nigga Travis Scott is about to get canceled. So clear them lanes up for some new Cudi music, because that's what the world needs. I've been drinking a little bit today. Just gonna be real with you guys. I'm looking at myself. That's another thing when I don't like to. If I feel like I'm drinking a little bit, if I feel like I look a little too drunk in these videos, I'm like, I don't want to post that. But I'm going to be up front right now. I don't know what it was earlier. I just had a real bad allergy attack. I'm not sure what was going on, but I was so stuffy and sneezy, and my eyes were so itchy earlier. And then I took like a Benadryl, like 2 Benadryl, or knockoff Benadryl. I knew that would knock me the fuck out, but I'd feel a little better for the time being. And I was like, and then I better get some alcohol, because through my experience of feeling sneezy and stuffy, I've known that when I have a little alcohol in my system, I'm able to not be as affected in that time. So I've been drinking a little bit here. As I was like, dude, I don't even know if I could do it. Honestly, I was contemplating not recording today because my eyes were so irritated. I was sneezing. I couldn't breathe like all day. I just felt pretty miserable. And I was like, the best way for me to record is to take some Benadryl, nap for a little bit, and then drink some fucking spiked Arnold Palmers and fucking just get the fucking lead out. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for your listening pleasures. It was like, even with the nasal spray, like even now it's my nose is still pretty dry, but it was like this morning, it was like, it's not gonna work. Usually I just spray that shit and then I'm clear for fucking hours. But this was like, nah, bro, you're just not breathing today. Not through your nose, bro. Your mouth breather status. I don't know what was going on, but I just woke up with what felt like an allergy attack. Not sure what caused it. I just wanted to let you guys know that I've been drinking. Speaking of drinking, the God himself, self-proclaimed God, Kanye West, was recently on Drink Champs podcast with Nori, which is an interesting little tidbit from that interview, which Nori, the rapper Nori, was saying that he's at this concert with Kanye. Well, Kanye's performing, and Noriega, is in the audience with his wife, and he says Kanye grabbed Kim Kardashian and brought her over to Nori and his wife, and was just like, this is who we named our daughter after. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. I didn't even really, I know he calls her Nori, but I never thought that, like, to him there was some connection to Noriega. I never thought that. That was pretty interesting. But this interview, man, as you know, it's Kanye West, but so it's got to be interesting. So I was like, let me just watch this 2.5 hours long. So I watched it in bits and pieces and chunks. I think it came out almost a week ago. Just finished it up like before I started recording because I remembered like, fuck, I didn't listen to the whole thing. But I had took all these notes, so I was like, I guess I better just finish it before I start recording because I took all these notes. But this nigga's, he's talking about how he's living that nomad life as rich people can. He just has a backpack, if you will, or he keeps a bag with him with what he calls his house. This is his house, just the random things, whatever he has in his bag. And he just travels around country to country. And then he's Kanye fucking West, so he's typically able to live freely wherever he goes. He's usually able to stay here for free and do all that. So he was talking about how it's just like this ideal of a home gives you safety, like an actual house gives you safety, a level of safety. So he's saying that he's rebelling against the certain ideals that he needs this in order to be safe or whatever. He's on a different wavelength. Part of me was thinking like, I wonder if he said a lot of the same shit in this interview that he said to Joe Rogan But I honestly never finished the Joe Rogan interview. I've never finished. I think I've seen like just a couple clips. But that also was probably, I think that was like 3 hours long. So yeah, that just sounds daunting. So I haven't even given that Joe Rogan Kanye interview too much of a listen. I honestly forgot. But I was sitting there thinking, because Kanye's talking about how his goals right now are to build like futuristic cities. I think he said he's trying to build some shit in Wyoming. He's trying to build cities. And I remember Joe Rogan at one point mentioned that Kanye was thinking about building a city. So I was like, I wonder how much of this was said in the Joe Rogan interview. But I just think the right audience isn't interested in Joe Rogan's podcast. The right audience for Ye isn't interested in Joe fucking Rogan's podcast. They're not at all. But Kanye West, man, he said this interview is pretty entertaining. He's got an crazy haircut. It's just wild. He said he calls it the Britney. There's no real rhyme or reason to the haircut. It's just patches everywhere. It's just super random. So he was originally calling it the Britney. But I guess we all found out that Britney ain't crazy, so you shouldn't call it the Britney at that point. So he said he's calling it the Ye. But he said he feels like when white people call a rapper, they really mean nigger. I was like, this nigga's wildin'. It's like, I love that energy, Ye, but you fucking wildin', my guy. Like, nigga, I could have sworn. I was trying to look it up. Did I say something on this podcast? Because he was talking about how he cuts hair. You know what I'm saying? They're asking him about his haircut, and he's saying he cuts hair too, and he used to do that. Just, that was what he would do to make money back in the day before he got money. Before he was successful in music. And he was saying that his barber name is Edward Nigga Hands. And I was like, I could have sworn I said some shit like that. And I'm like searching my notes. I couldn't find anything. And I'm like, I could have sworn I said some shit like that. If you guys remember me saying some shit like that, get at your boy. I was like, damn, didn't I say something? I was looking through the text to my wife. I'm like, I could have sworn I said some shit like that. But I think maybe I probably said it to her in person. But I was like, damn, I can't believe that's what he calls himself. It's all right there. Edward Nigga Hands. It's all right there. I think I said something similar to the Nigga Hands. Maybe not Edward. Kanye shit on Talib Kweli. Going in on Talib. And he was like, hey, I just want it to be known. I just want to put it out there that I never liked the way Talib raps. He's saying Common is way better rapper than Talib Kweli. And he was like, I just want it to be known that I never liked the way Talib rap. And he was just shitting on Talib Kweli. And he's like, how is Talib Kweli sitting here trying to tell me things that I should do? He was like, if I did things like you, I'd be where you are. Like, he was shitting on Talib Kweli. He said the worst thing he ever did was sign Big Sean. There was like some tombstone or whatever, and he was like, when I die, I think it'll read on on his tombstone that he died because he signed Big Sean. Like, that was the worst decision he's ever made, is signing Big Sean. It's funny with the Big Sean thing. I remember I would see Big Sean constantly like saying like he doesn't understand what's going on with the good music situation. No one's spoken to him, yada yada yada. And now Kanye is like, the worst thing he's ever done was sign Big Sean. And then he goes into the reasoning for people. He's got like a now distaste for people like Big Sean, Talib Kweli, John Legend, people who he's worked with and made beautiful music with in the past, where I was like, fuck, I can't wait for him to get back to that, working with these people. Well, it's never going to happen now, is what it seems like. He was saying, like, he still rocks with Pusha T, because even though Pusha T spoke out against his political views, he never went out there and tried to just publicly diss him for whatever agenda. He's like, you're letting these people come out here and pay you to speak out against me? He was saying in regards to Big Sean, he's like, I know your mom. I changed your life. I changed your mom's life. And he's like, and you let these people use you to talk bad about me, like publicly. So I was like, damn, so it's like a lot deeper than like some bad business deals. He really felt some type of way, because it's like, I hear what he's saying. Like, he's saying even Pusha T spoke out against Ye's views and the things that Ye was on at the time in regards to politics, but he never tried to talk down about Kanye, because he was like, Kanye said he and Pusha like realize how much they've done for each other, and that their friendship, their connection, means much more than this disagreement here, this differing of opinions right here. So Pusha T never went at Ye, so there is no issue there. And his issue with people like John Legend and Big Sean is that they personally attacked Kanye for having a different opinion. I was like, damn, I see that. But he was kind of going in on, he went on Common a little bit. Because he said Common and John Legend is these light-skinned ass niggas. They do light-skinned niggas shit. They just show up and do whatever the white people ask them to do. I was like, what? He kept saying, he was like, we all know that John Legend is just going to show up and do whatever they ask him to do. Like, he was shitting on John Legend throughout this interview, man. I was always thinking, like, when is he going to start working with John again? When are we going to get the, maybe it's me, maybe I bore you. No, it's my fault, 'cause I can't afford you. Baby, when I used to love you. Yo, that shit. When are we going to get some John Legend and Kanye? That's what I was thinking, but by the looks of it, we will never get any more John Legend and Kanye West, unfortunately. I'm going to put that shit on later if I remember, but because they used to make some amazing music together. It's unfortunate that this is how things have, that I guess that this is where we've come to. If you don't want to, then you don't have to, believe me. You know what I just thought about is like on that album, because that was the song I was just singing there was called Believe Me by the group Fort Minor. And I could be wrong here, but I think the next song is a song with John Legend on it. I'm pretty sure the next song is with John Legend on it, but he's on that album. Anywho, Kanye mentions that Prince gave him the song Jail. The song Jail, which now features, well, it's a few versions of it, different versions, but the version I like has DaBaby and Marilyn Manson. There's a version with Jay-Z. I'm a big fan of DaBaby and the Marilyn Manson version, but that song was originally a Prince song, and he gave it to Kanye West. And that's what's interesting, because he was talking about how, like, when they were working on Watch the Throne, when Kanye was working on Watch the Throne with Jay-Z, he was trying to beg Jay-Z to put the song Holy Grail that Kanye put out, or that Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake did together for Hov's album Holy Grail. And Jay-Z refused. I feel like there's like a 2 or 3 year difference in when those albums came out. And that's what I was like, fuck, man, I wish I had a stash. Like, that's like a crazy stash. You know what I'm saying? Like, Watch the Throne is a great album. Phenomenal album. You got the deluxe version. It's a lot of hits. And he's trying to beg Jay-Z to let them put Holy Grail on Watch the Throne. And he's just like, nah. Because there's already, and there's still so much heat on there. That's what's crazy to me. There's still so much heat. Y'all got all this heat that y'all could just spread all that out. That's how you make one hit record into two, I guess. Oh, my wife texts me something. I get distracted. It was some meme. I'll look at it later. But yeah, 1 second here. But yeah, I don't know where I was. I had to run to the bathroom there. As I said, I've been drinking. But well, I see, where I am in my notes. But we talking about Kanye. I think I was just recently saying like Prince gave him jail. I was talking about my favorite versions of that. Yeah, it's a great song. I would love to hear the Prince version if that exists somewhere. Like, that would be fucking amazing to hear. Kanye was talking about how he's just always, for their lives, he's going to financially take care of Dame Dash. Because, in reference, well, he didn't reference it, but it's like, it's the same conversation, same interview. He said that, like, Dame Dash changed his life when he had nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dame Dash did so much for him when he couldn't. That at this point, when he can, that Dame Dash never has to work. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do whatever he can to take care of Dame Dash financially. So I was like, that's fucking dope, man. That is dope. And the last little note here I took, Kanye was talking about how he wants to replace Black History Month with Black Future Month. His goal is to open up the minds and get people into the point where we have black Elon Musks. Just all the top white entrepreneurs, we have a black version of that, and then some, And I was like, I love the way this nigga thinks. So I don't know if I told you guys. I don't believe I did. This is episode 116. The episode is called The Yay Way. Because he was talking about how, like, well, he was talking about how, like, the government does all this shit and there's, like, mind control, blah, 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 And he's talking about he's conditioning people himself, he's got the song where he's like, if I hit you with a W-Y-D, you better not hit me with a H-E-Y. It better be like, hi, with a bunch of I's, or like, hey, with a bunch of Y's. And he's saying, like, when he texts people now, like, since he's put that song out, they'll text him with either a hi. They'll respond with either a hi with a bunch of I's or a hey with a bunch of Y's. And he's like, because I've conditioned people to respond in this way, to think in this way now. But I don't know. I thought it was a pretty interesting interview. You don't usually get a lot of in-depth interviews like this, because you got dumb niggas like Charlemagne, who are like, yo, we got Kanye West here, one of the most influential, impactful artists of our time. Now, who's going to be the Medici family? You got niggas like Charlemagne who will have Ye there and then just shot his shit on this man like, hey, man, I think your album sucks, to his face. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have that happen. And then everybody's like, now, like, dude, why doesn't Kanye really do interviews that often? Because y'all thought that was cool. Because y'all fucking thought that was cool. That's not cool to do that to Kanye or any fucking artist. Why bring me on your show to have me be like, yo, man, I just think your album's garbage? Don't bring me on your show, bro. Like, are you crazy? Are you fucking crazy? So y'all thought that kind of shit was cool. So now we rarely get this anymore. And we could have a lot of Kanye moments rather often if you guys just didn't think shit like what Charlemagne did was cool. You thought it was cool to play Ye, And Ye played, and congratulations, you played yourself. We need these Ye moments, So that was pretty much it. I felt like how the interview ended, it was like, damn, is there a part 2 to this? I felt like they just suddenly just stopped talking. It was 2.5 hours long. It was pretty daunting to get there, but by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, damn, is there more? Is there more for this interview? So if you guys haven't checked out, if you guys got 2.5 hours to just kill, put on that Kanye West Drink Champs interview. It's pretty. There's some diamonds in there. There's deluxe version of Donda is on the way. I've heard about deluxe versions and albums being updated. I think last time, maybe 2 albums ago, and then it didn't really happen. So he's saying it's deluxe coming. We'll see. But I want to hear that. I want to hear Jail with Prince vocals, if we can. So on Saturday we got Bill Burr, ladies and gentlemen, right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We got Bill Burr coming to town, and as you guys should know, if you're listening to this podcast would not exist, at least in the way that it is, if there was no Bill Burr. He's my big inspiration for this podcast and the way that I do it. My idea was like to make a mix of Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, and Mark Maron. But as you guys can clearly tell, I've kind of moved away from the interview aspect of it all. And at this point, it's more so the black version of Bill Burr's podcast. Bill has his Monday morning podcast, and then his Thursday before Friday podcast. Where he talks. It's just him talking, and that's what told me that this could be entertaining. Just me here without a co-host. Occasionally, I'll have my wife in here. Occasionally, I'll have a friend, if I feel like it, but I want that to be not the thing that I do is I need guests here. And then what am I going to do? Get to a point where I'm just relying on guests and I hope these guests show up? That would be a terrible situation to put myself in. I'm way more reliable to myself than random niggas that I've chose to do a show with would ever be to me. And I know that from experience. So, if I personally have a stand-up comedy Mount Rushmore, Bill Burr's on there. There's Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr. I'm not quite sure who's that fourth. Not quite sure, but those three are definitely up there. I just got to see some more things, you know what I'm saying? Some more things, but those are three guys up there. I don't have a fourth currently. Shit, I've been seeing some videos with Roy Woods Jr., that nigga funny as fuck. He might fuck around and get that fourth spot. That nigga is mad funny. If you ain't seen no videos with Roy Woods Jr., man, do yourself a favor. That nigga is funny. I think he's been around. I remember him being around back in the day, but he's, leveled up. He's stuck with it. Really improved. He's good. That boy is good. Shout out to Roy Woods Jr., man. But I'm excited, man. We got Bill Burr here. I've not seen Bill Burr live. He's one of my favorite comedians. All right? As I said, Mount Rushmore. And now I finally get to see the man live. So I'm excited for that. So with that said, I will not be watching UFC Vegas, I believe 42 live with Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. Which, I'm just going to talk about that real quick. I believe that I don't believe that Yair Rodriguez is that good. I feel like his fighting style, the way he fights, shouldn't warrant the hype that he has. I think he looks pretty bad out there. I saw him fight Frankie Edgar. Remember Frankie Edgar, ladies and gentlemen, who just got knocked out last night by Chito Vera with that fucking Anderson Silva front kick to the fucking chin? I saw a fucking picture of the impact shot. It's the fucking toes like all in the chin. His face is like scrunched up like he doesn't have teeth or something. It's all folded in. It's crazy impact. Remember Frankie Edgar? Remember when he beat the shit out of Yair Rodriguez? And I was, me personally, I don't know how you guys felt. If you haven't seen the fight, go back and watch it and tell me how you feel. But as a guy who watches fights weekly, I felt uncomfortable watching him in there with Frankie Edgar. He was getting his fucking ass beat. Getting an ungodly fucking beating. To the point where there was so much hype on Yair at the time. All right? There was so much hype on Yair to be the next big thing at the time that when Frankie Edgar beat the shit out of him, they were like, oh, Frankie's clearly got some gas left in him. And yeah, he's gotten a title shot since then. But you know what he's also gotten since then? Knocked the fuck out multiple times. By fucking... I said this to this guy on Twitter. He was like, oh, I feel like Frankie's going to retire today. And I was like saying he's not, because I'm figuring like Frankie's going to dominate this dude. And that's going to give him that false sense of confidence that he can still maybe go for another title run. You know, that's what I'm thinking. But, and I said to this nigga on Twitter, I was like, he's about to dust Cheeto, hot flaming style. And I was like, that's a hot ass line right there. That's because nigga's name is Cheeto. Well, his nickname is Cheeto, Chito. Yeah, Chito Vera. He's about to dust Cheeto, hot flaming style. And he was winning the fight, I would say. And I wanted him to. Well, I don't think he could get it to the ground in the third. I wanted him to just grapple and hold on. But I felt like if he was able to get it to the ground and control Chito on the ground, he would have won that fight. He was super fast with his punches, but he got knocked the fuck out. My point is, he beat the shit out of Yair. And niggas was like, oh, Frankie can still go. Clearly, this is a resurgence of Frankie. And it's like, no. Actually, Yair just got exposed. You know what just happened? Who just fought? Alexander Volkanovski, Brian Ortega. What did I say about Brian Ortega before that fight? Huh? I said Brian Ortega did not improve too much at all from the time that he fought Max Holloway. He pretty much looked like the same fighter. And they were like, but he went out there and looked amazing against the Korean Zombie. But I told you guys that the Korean Zombie at that time, he looked much improved in his last fight. Shout out to Korean Zombie. But before then, Korean Zombie just chased, moved in straight lines. He fought the perfect style where if you were even a decent striker at all, you could really piece that man up. As long as you kept moving, you could really piece him up because he's just chasing you. He's not cutting off any angles. He's just chasing. And he was just chasing Yair. And as I said, Yair threw that elbow, and he caught Korean Zombie with that elbow multiple times throughout the fight. It wasn't like suddenly he fucking like threw that elbow and caught Korean Zombie and knocked him out like just Hail Mary. He'd caught the Korean Zombie with that elbow multiple times. And as I told you guys, like, I thought Ortega looked amazing in that fight to you guys against Korean Zombie because Korean Zombie fought the kind of fight that would be a showcase, that would prove to be a showcase fight for any decent striker, honestly, at that time. So, Yair knocked out Korean Zombie. Has he fought since then? Oh, he fought Jeremy Stevens. That Jeremy Stevens fight where he won the first 2 rounds with better striking and then just chose to, like, hold Stevens and just try to coast to a victory. I don't think that's going to be a route that'll be available for him against Max Holloway. I think Yair is going to suffer potentially career-ending damage in this fight with Max Holloway. I feel like, yeah, he might break some records. Max has the record, for the most strikes thrown in a fight in the UFC, and I feel like he's gonna go to break. He's gonna go in there with the intention to break that record again, with little to no resistance coming back at him. Max Holloway will have his way with Yair Rodriguez, ladies and gentlemen. I will not watch it live because, as I said, I'm going to go see Bill Burr. But I believe that Max Holloway will fucking dust that nigga off hot flaming style. We just had UFC 268 and some fights I want to shout out. Shout out to Bobby Green. When they announced Bobby Green versus Al Aquinto, I was like, are you guys crazy? Bobby Green is a great striker. He's got a great jab. And Al just fucking doesn't see punches coming. If he does, then he just doesn't give a shit that punches are coming at him. No head movement. He's not slipping anything. He takes everything on the chin. And if you got a decent jab, you're going to fuck that dude up. So when that fight was announced, I was like, dude. I remember talking on Twitter. I was like, dude, this is an easy win for Bobby Green because of the reasons I just said. People were coming at me like, there's never been any proof of Al not being able to take a jab. Nigga, go back to the Hooker fight. Go back to the Cerrone fight. Go back to any fight of recent, nigga, with Al Aquinto. And watch how this nigga just take everything on the chin. He just takes everything on the fucking chin and tries to tough it out. This nigga trained in China or some shit. He fights like the Chinese fighters who just no head movement. Just keep coming forward and show that warrior spirit, you fucking psychopaths. It's not martial arts. I'm not saying, like, Chinese fighters are psychopaths. I'm saying any fighter like Al fucking, or anyone who fucking comes into this martial arts with no regard for defense, you're in the wrong place. That's not what this is. It's not martial arts. It's not like, oh, let's just rock 'em, sock 'em, and see who falls first. That's literally not martial arts. So Bobby Green knocks Al Aquinto the fuck out, as he should. Al Aquinto's fucking defense is non-existent. He just keeps coming forward. So I was very happy for Bobby Green. I figured that would happen. He's just a better fighter. Al hadn't fought in 2 years, and then shame on whoever is handling Al Aquinto, shame on them for allowing this fight to happen. Because, as I said when it was booked, it's a crazy mismatch. You got a very sophisticated striker in Bobby Green, who was up there. I feel like he beat Rafael Fiziev. I believe he won that fight. Fuck what the judges said. I believe Bobby won that fight. He just gets terrible shakes from the judges pretty often. And I was at work. I wasn't watching this fight live, and I was thinking, like, he's just got to get finishes, man. Like, I know Jorge, it's like easier said than done. Jorge was like, I got to the point where I was like, I got to take these judges out of here because I keep getting these bad decisions. And then all of a sudden, I start knocking out people. And it's like, yeah, that is the case here, man. It's easier said than done, but I was like, yo, Bobby's got to get some finishes. But I did not think Al would be too much of a problem because he's basically got no defense. He just keeps walking forward. And he got knocked the fuck out, as he should have. As he should have. Then you got Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Nigga, god damn. It's one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. I got out of work yesterday, and I get into the group chat. I'm randomly in a group chat now. Shout out to Andre at the Fight Forum for adding me to this group chat. And I'm like, yo, just got out of work. What did I miss? Like, did I miss any good fights? And niggas is like, yo, I just got out of work and, like, Chandler Gaethje just ended. And niggas is like, yo, this whole card's crazy, but, like, Chandler Gaethje just ended. And, you know, I didn't see it yet, so I'm like, all right, whatever. I watched it this morning. Nigga, goddamn. This is a fucking war. Chandler, once again, like he did in the fight with Oliveira, looks like he's about to finish Gaethje in the very first round. He's putting it on Gaethje. He's about to finish Gaethje in the first round, but somehow Gaethje was able to survive. These men are trading, going back and forth. Then in the second round, it's like Gaethje had already been attacking the leg, that lead leg of Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler usually fights in orthodox. And apparently when he fights in southpaw, he just doesn't have the striking acumen. And Gaethje's just attacking that leg, drops Chandler with an uppercut in the second round. Looked like he was going to finish Chandler, but Chandler fucking toughed it out and was able to get back to his feet. By the third round, that lead leg had been fucking destroyed by the leg kicks of Justin Gaethje. And Gaethje's just, at this point, kind of just teeing off. I mean, Chandler's throwing some offense, but because he has to fight in southpaw, he's like throwing like random like jumping, spinning kicks and shit. Nothing that he really... as he's throwing this, I'm like, he has no intention of landing anything. He's kind of far away, but he wants to keep Gaethje away from him because he can't defend himself properly. That's what I saw it as. But there's a point where he's just like trying to be more entertaining. He's walking forward with his hands down, just fucking eating punches to the face. No defense. It was fucking wild. Gaethje wins via unanimous decision, and I honestly wouldn't mind seeing this fight again for 5 rounds. I mean, as we knew Chandler wasn't going to check them leg kicks. And it definitely became a problem in the fucking third round. But first round, man, Chandler almost finished Gaethje, and it was pretty fucking amazing to watch. So shout out to them. Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili 2. I scored the bout. What did I score the bout? I scored the bout 48-47 Thug Rose. And Thug Rose did go on to win this fight. Zhang implemented a great wrestling game, showed to have pretty decent jiu-jitsu to the point where, well, she could keep Rose in her guard and keep Rose from transitioning, but she was not able to get off her back once Rose was put her there. So that's ultimately what won Rose the fight, was that Zhang had no know-how of how to get up once Rose got her on the ground. But it went the full 5 rounds. Rose looked amazing. I mean, as I went into this fight, they both looked amazing. Both fighters looked amazing. As I went into this fight, and I was talking about it, I was rooting for Zhang. And then I'm sitting here at home watching the fight, and like, Zhang, to me, was like up the first 2 rounds, or like fighting better in the first 2 rounds. And then in the third round, as Rose is starting to come on strong, I'm like, yeah, Rose! Like, just a natural, yeah! You know, just a natural, yeah. I became, once again, I was naturally cheering for the hometown girl. So, shout out to Thug Rose on retaining her belt. And still Thug Rose Namajunas. And speaking of and still, in the main event we had Camaro Usman versus Colby Chaos Covington. And unfortunately for me, we got and still. This was a fucking crazy fight. Colby looked super nervous. He looked honestly terrified when he came into that octagon. He was super stiff, breathing super hard, just like that's what he kept doing, and he looked super stiff, and like he just looked like he didn't want to be in there. And for the first 2 rounds, he was just like staying away from Usman, very cautious, only really attacking ever so often, but very like trying to stay away. Then toward the end of the second round, Usman fucking catches Colby, drops this nigga twice. And I'm sitting there like, no, Colby, no. I'm at the crib like, no. He drops this nigga twice, and then in typical fucking Colby fucking fashion, Colby starts fucking fighting harder. All right? It looks like he's about to get knocked out at the end of the second round. Gets dropped and like stiffened. His body went stiff, and then he falls to the ground, all right? He got stiffened and dropped twice in the second round. Third round, he comes out like a bat out of hell. Like, the first 2 rounds, he looked nervous, like he didn't want to fucking... He's very cautious of Usman's power. He's trying to stay away from it. And then after he got dropped those 2 times, third round came, and he was like, fuck it. And he just started coming at Usman. He stuns Usman. He's catching this man with uppercuts, getting him with kicks to the body. I gave Colby a fucking 10-8 in round 4. For me, round 4, he was dominating Usman. All right? He absolutely dominated Usman. I gave Colby a 10-8. So for me, going into the 5th round, it was even. Obviously, I gave Usman a 10-8 in round 2 when he dropped Colby twice. But Colby was all over Usman, hurt him multiple times in the 4th round. I thought he was going to fucking stop Usman in the 4th round. So I gave Colby a 10-8 in the 4th round. It was tied for me going into the last round, but then I saw I gave the last round to Usman, and Usman won the fight ultimately in the end. And Colby and Usman hug, say it's all love, and Colby is heard saying like he was just doing it all for the fans, yada yada. And it seemed like after the fight he gave a speech saying like, even if you guys all hate me, I love you all, and you've only seen the start of Colby. Like, it seemed like he turned a face turn. But then in the post-fight press conference, he went back to the old Colby and started saying, like, oh, Marty Fake Newsman cheated. I won the fight. And Jorge Masvidal, like, cheated on his wife. He went back to the Colby that we know and love. But that fight was phenomenal. I don't know how Colby keeps taking this crazy damage where it's like, oh, the fight's about to be over. He breaks his jaw first fight and comes back, fights harder. Fucking this fight, gets dropped twice, stiffened, and then comes back, fights harder. Like, he's a fucking phenomenal fighter. These people questioned why do I like Colby? It's like, do you like fights? Have you seen this guy fight? Because he's fucking great at it. I like watching fights, and this guy is fucking phenomenal. So there's no way you can watch that fight and say, how do you like Colby? How do you not like Colby after watching that fight? Shout out to Camaro Usman for doing whatever the fuck he needed to do. He's fucking strong, man. He's fucking strong. Shout out to Camaro. But Colby I gained respect for both fighters. Colby looked amazing. Just to weather that storm. And, oh man, he almost won the fight. It was crazy. It was crazy. But if you guys want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, if you can, it's at Babylon5Pod. My personal accounts. My name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean at Babylon5.podbean.com. You can follow us on Podbean too. You can listen to this podcast also on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Pretty much anywhere podcast stream. If you guys are on Xbox, go ahead and add me at SauceBoss414. If you guys are on Twitch, add me at twitch.tv/Babylon5. Go ahead and cop some merchandise at teespring.com/stores/BOFpod and be my patron at patreon.com/Babylon5. pod. I was like hyped because my camera is dying and it was like just about to fucking run out of memory, and I was, let me just get that pod before it dies, and yeah, I got it in there. But this has been episode 116. Thank you guys so much for being here, for listening, taking the time. Hope I can get this issue with Instagram resolved soon so I can post some things for you. If not, I'll try to like post more on TikTok, try to grow that up. So follow me on TikTok if you guys are not. I just noticed that I don't mention TikTok, do I? I never mention TikTok. Well, I'm on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok if you can. And hope you guys take care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll holla.
Chant down Babylon kingdom. That he make we chant down Vatican now. Bang, 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 chant down